Hi, my name is Dustin, and I'm one of the developers who works on Simple Inventory. And I'm going to give you a quick demo of what Simple Inventory looks like. It tries its best to live up to its name. It is, at its heart, a simple inventory system. If we're to take a look here, this is a zoo, and we're using this as our sample company. And in the zoo, we can see that there are aardvarks. We can see that they're in the zoo, incoming, outgoing, and dead. If you have a thing that's other than a zoo, you can change these labels. And instead of saying in zoo, you could say in stock. Instead of incoming, you can say receiving, sending, damaged, whatever it is that you call them. In this case, because it's a zoo, we're saying in zoo, incoming, outgoing, and cost as well. We also support custom fields, so there's an endangered and is cool. So we can see that aardvarks are cool, but anacondas are not. And if we click into this here, go down, and we can edit the custom field to be whatever we want. We can also have some custom fields that are just kind of shown, but are not in the table, and you can kind of see it just at the top of the thing here, or in here, that is. When we go into the aardvark, we can just adjust more or less, really basic. We can add or subtract a whole bunch, or edit it and say, there's a fixed number. The system has quite aggressive tracking, so in this case, we can see that today, just right now, I then changed the in zoo amount by 1. So I kind of went up 1, down 1, and then went up 1 again. The system, if you make kind of quick corrections like this, will recognize that it was a mistake and then just kind of figure out the delta of what you did. So in this case, it's just showing 1. We can also see snapshots. So we can see that on June 28th, there was 19 in the zoo, 4 incoming, 1 outgoing, and 1 dead. There are some times where you're going to have things that are named. So a lot of the time you're just going to say, I have 1,000 of something. But in this case, we're naming the bald eagles. And in this case, we can see that we have Jimmy, Fred, Ron, Annie, and looks like Baldy. You can give them identifiers. So if there's part of a certain lot, you can change quantities, so sometimes, you have 50 things in lot 20 or whatever it is. If you wish, you can add additional custom fields, so I could say, if there's different types of bald eagle, I could say like species, and then this would be, I don't know, bald, I guess, if we're classifying eagles. So it's kind of handy. You can do quite a bit of customization, but at its heart, this is mostly for expensive things like laptops or things that need lot tracing. You can use it for other things as needed, but at its core, this is kind of the intent of that feature. There is a summary and some dashboards and some reports and that kind of stuff. So if you ever wanted to have it go to QuickBooks or whatever, or send low stock notifications, then you can do that. We do support sending notifications to things like Microsoft Teams, if that is needed. If you're ever wanting to have an assembly of things, so this doesn't really work very much for a zoo, but if you have a thing where, 2 pieces of wood make a birdhouse, you can then basically have a thing in here, and you could say consume 1 anaconda and 1 snake and make a anaconda snake. And it's a pretty cool thing, so it'll adjust it. And then you can complete and make, say, 50 of these things, and it will adjust the inventory accordingly. It's quite handy. Inventory snapshots are useful when you're just reconciling things. So sometimes it's nice just to say, at this time I had this many, and you can sort of click into it, and you can see, in this case, in 2020 of May 24th, I had, looks like 2 buffaloes, 6 bears, and 109 anacondas. So it's kind of nice to have just sort of a snapshot in time, especially if you're going to do like a major inventory action. This is where you can track orders, so when you have things coming in. So if you're to make a new order, you could say that I have, let's say I'm ordering some anacondas. I'm going to hit save. And then in this case, I'm going to say that I have ordered 5 anacondas, and then it should edit the sort of anaconda on order number here as well. And then whenever it's complete, it just moves it from receiving into inventory. Same sort of thing if you have outgoing, it can kind of take it from inventory. So they're kind of just the reverse of each other in this case, and you can sort of finish off, so it could be complete or pending. You can invite people, so you can have as many people as you'd like and your team. We support some fairly large company things, so if you have SAML and wish to set up a single inventory or single sign-on, you can do so here. You can configure your team's integrations here as well, so it can notify you of things like low inventories or out of stocks. If something falls below a reorder point, it can also sort of notify you that as well. You can sort of set up suppliers and have things like, this is what you're looking to reorder. And it'll just sort of make kind of ordering before you run out a lot easier. And then the final thing we have here is an AI integration. So you can, through the MCP, link it to either Claude, Grok, OpenAI, Gemini, any of these AIs that support what's called an MCP. So there's a little guide in there, but in this case, if we take a look, we can see that I have, let's just say 7 dogs. If I go over here, I could say to, in this case, Grok, how many dogs have in inventory? And then we'll search, and it should say 7. So we can see 7, and then I can just simply say, add another dog to inventory, and then that should take it from 7 to 8. Now it's 8. If I go over here, we can now see that we have 8 dogs in inventory. And what's nice about this is you can kind of change things in bulk. So you could say, hey, change my dogs to 8, my donkeys to 7. You could compare it against an Excel file as well. So it really allows the power of AI